All right, welcome back, guys. Well, let's straighten that out a little bit there. All right, consider this hunting hour, right? I've talked about 1983 Washington quarters, on a number of occasions, and it's worth mentioning that these coins are actually little gems in the rough. Now, I talked about these very early on in my YouTube presence, career, whatever you want to call it. It's been years since I, pushed and promoted 1983 Washington quarters. And then now we're in 2024. I've been doing this for almost 13 years now. And it's kind of high time that we possibly, I don't know, kind of see if these things are still relevant in the market. Now, at first, why did I even bring up 1983 quarters? What's so special about them? Well, first of all, the Mint never produced the 1983 Mint set. Yeah, no Mint set. That's one list thing that you have the ability to go through to find some premier level business strike coins. And we also have to consider the time period too, early 80s, going all the way up to right before when the Statehood Quarter Series was launching. There's a good solid, like nearly 20-year chunk of time that's very dead to a lot of people when it comes to coins that you pull out of circulation. So as a result, not a lot of these coins actually survived in mint-state condition. You could scour the internet to try and find an original bank wrap roll of 1983 quarters, whether they're Philadelphia or Denver, you'll never find them. And it's something of a rarity. You probably see it sold on the secondary market maybe 2 or 3 times a year. I'm giving it a lot more credit than I should, because there are times where we just don't see it at all in a 12-month period. Now, there are singular coins to find out there. And, we always hear these stories about these particular coins getting removed from albums and different other sets and then taken to the bank. They call these collection dumps. So there are occasions where me personally, because I like searching through quarters, that I've actually come across some nice BU choice gem level 1983 P&D Washington quarters. And if you do come across these and they have very nice luster, they're not worn at all, it literally look like it was deposited into the bank the day before. I'm telling you guys, it's probably a good idea to hold on to these, if not to put in your collection, but to resell at some point. Because the market still does, in a way, support some of the higher grade examples. So we're going to take a look at about the last week of sales data from eBay. We're also going to take a look at what has been the most expensive thing bearing a 1983 date on the Washington quarter that has sold in the last 90 days as well. So when we go through here and we take a look at some of the coins, people sell them individually. P, Philadelphia, Denver Mint Mark. They sell them in sets like this. This is a P&D. When we look at coins like this, these obviously have circulated. They have all sorts of little contact marks all over Washington's face, his neck. There's very little in the way of mint luster, which indicates something of a mint state coin or even about uncirculated. These are quite beat up. Probably on their best of days, they would grade right in that high VF, low XF range. And this pairing ended up selling for $1.69, which doesn't say a whole lot. $1.25 for shipping. Pure net profit will probably end up being about 90 cents, for something like this by the time you factor in fees. So let's just go down the line here. Here's 1983D from Mac Vandersteen that sold for $6. and it looks decent. Mac mentioned that this one is a gem brilliant uncirculated lustrous, and it's a little bit far from that. You do have a couple contact marks there in the fields in front of Washington's face. That's worth noting, because it's those things that some of the higher end collectors or the more discerning collectors, maybe not necessarily the more high end, but discerning collectors that are looking for these, in a an album of some sort where they're putting in their premium pieces in there. Something like this may not necessarily work for them. And then you can see more of the contact marks there on the eagle's legs, and on the wing. You can see it there on the left wing there, on some of those leaves on the wreath at the bottom, and various other places. So, $6 for what I consider to be a low-end mid-state coin, taking nothing away from Mac Vandersteen. The guy's been selling on the platform for probably close to 2 decades. He has almost 200,000, feedback. So that's just a testament to his business practices. A lot of people do like him. But on this one, Gem Brilliant Unk indicates that this coin would grade 65 or higher. I don't see that. Probably 64 at the highest. I'm thinking more 63. And we just don't see the luster very well on here. But $6 for that, and that's more of a coin that you would come across in circulation. So with that being said, this Mac Vandersteen sold it for $6, charged $4 for shipping. I would say that's a pretty good return right there. He probably made $4.25 in profit by the time it's all factored in with eBay fees baked in there. It's pretty good. The Mint did produce 1983 proof sets. Okay, just want to go ahead and say that. So there are proof Washington quarters bearing a S Mint 83 date. There are a fair amount of off-center struck coins bearing the 1983 date. So you're going to see a lot of that there. There's a lot of cut die breaks as well for you guys to gloss over. Again, another possibility. Here is a 1983D Washington quarter. Beautiful unk from Mint Set in original cello. FOB. $18.50. Now, the Denver minted examples don't sell for nearly as much as Philly. All right, even though they never made a mint set, which has both P and D mints in there. This coin right here exists in much better condition than the Philadelphia's. So this person said from a mint set, well, they didn't make mint sets for 1983. But here's what happened. And it kind of ties into another event that occurred during that same time or close to it. And that's the Hunt Brothers silver market manipulation run-up. During this time, there were a lot of new companies, whether that be assayers, smelters, these secondary coin outfits, kind of on that level of a mail order coin company, HSN, Coin Vault TV, things like that kind of come to mind. Littleton Coin. There were similar types of companies back in the early 80s. They actually produced their hand collated mint sets. All right. So there was never a U.S. Mint issued mint set, but there were third-party issued mint sets. Oftentimes, they're all going to be Denver minted coins, and they're going to feature all the coins in there, ranging from the Lincoln cent all the way up to the $50. So, just want to let you guys know that's kind of where this one came from. Is from one of those third-party companies that was very prominent, and everybody knew that they weren't going to make a mint set in '83. So there were a number of companies that stepped in to try and do the job and kind of close that gap of there being no mint set. So 83D is one of the more common dates, and that's why, ladies and gentlemen, that the 83D doesn't sell for nearly as much money as a similar graded 1983 Philadelphia minted coin. There's just no comparison. There's a lot more Denver mints that exist in nicer grades because of these third-party companies. All right, continuing on. I want to keep going until we find our first 1990 Philly. Here's a 1990 Philly Mid-State 66 through NGC, $70. Again, looking at this one here, based off of the grade, that's a high enough grade that I would say, you shouldn't have to grade these. All right, they kind of speak volumes for themselves. It's the type of thing that grading, unless it grades like a 66, it's almost like breaking even, because you got to pay $25-$30 for the submission to either one of the grading companies, and then you got to sell it, and then there's eBay fees, things like that. $70 for a mid-state 66 coin doesn't seem like a whole lot. But a raw example, which we'll see here momentarily, sells for a pretty good premium that, it'll not justify the grading aspect of it. You could just sell it raw on the secondary market and make more money off of the coins than you normally would if you sent it to a third-party grading company. There's another PCGS graded coin in a 66. So we had an NGC, a PCGS. You can see the prices very similar. Here's a 83P, very nice, bright looking coin. This one sold for $20. If we take a close look at it, I would say, yeah, this one's pretty good. This one's probably in that 64, 65 kind of grade level. Now, they don't really sell for as much as they used to 10 years ago. It used to be that you had to pay $30 to $50 to own a really nice, in this condition, BU 83 Philadelphia. But we have one here that's sold for $20. The market looks like it has pivoted a little bit to take into account, roll hunters and people of that nature that actually come across these in larger quantities. Larger quantities means that instead of there being 10 on the open market back 10 years ago, now there's probably 30 or 40 of them. All right. So, something to consider. Let's see if we could find one more Philadelphia 83. One that I could honestly say is a nice gem. Don't pay attention to that. It's not a $900 coin. There's a Denver. See, there's not a lot of them. All right, so here's one that sold for $25.25 out the door. And let's see if this thing is anywhere close. And it's not. That thing is a circulated mess. So we're going to continue on. It's a Denver. Here's an off-center strike, $60. Another off-center or broad strike. It's a nice Denver. Off-center. $46.99. Okay, this one does not specify Philly or Denver in the title, but if we click in here, we're going to see that it is indeed the Philadelphia coin. Okay, and it looks nice. This is again in that kind of like 64, 65 range. This one has a deeper contact mark here, and there you go. All right, so that is kind of like on the higher end, and as you can see, this person had 8 of them, had sold all of them except for one. All right, so they only have one remaining in their Dutch auction. But there you go. Yeah, that's kind of like a little miniature look at the 1983 quarters as a singular coin. All right, here's going into the type of sets that you encounter back in 83. You got some proof sets, and then here's the 83D uncirculated mint set. Package for Coins Magazine and Numismatic News, $130. So this is kind of like one of those fabricated third-party presentations. Denver Mint Coins does not specify it's a U.S. Mint item. And it's got all Denver Mint coins from the Lincoln cent to the Kennedy half dollar. And then on the reverse, it says selected and packaged for Coins Magazine, Numismatic News, coin prices in Iola, Wisconsin, I guess is what that is. So it's not an official US Mint produced set, but it was made from a third party provider. And if you look at the plastic, this one actually matches that singular 83D that we saw a few moments ago. So and they come in packages like this. They come in hard plastic holders like this. This one is currently being bid up to $22.50. Here's a Philadelphia Mint souvenir set in OGP with original government packaging, is what that means, with original purchase receipt, $39. It's got 6 bids already. This will fool a lot of people into thinking that this is an actual US Mint produced set. But they never put souvenir in anywhere on their envelopes or any other marketing paraphernalia. This is a secondary market product. Plus, they even have the copper bronze metal in there, which they've never put in there. When you look up close, that's what it looks like. So that's, again, a third-party provided copper bronze metal. This person, I guess, had paid originally 18 cents or something like that for this set, or maybe more. I don't know what this receipt is for, but yeah, that's a third-party provided mid-set. It looks legit because it's like in a regular standard envelope, like the kind that they used to use back in the day. But this is not the real deal. So definitely don't overpay for anything like this unless you know that the Candy half dollar and the Washington quarter are good coins. So that is that one. And there's actually a few of these. Here's another type of third-party set. Here's another one here, another third-party set. Proof set. Here's another one here. 1982 uncirculated coin set. That's 82 though. That's what it says on there, but they put it here as 83. And it says sealed. So this one definitely wrong. That's 82. Right here, 83 mint set uncirculated Denver and Philadelphia. 10 coin set. Here's yet again another variant from a different company that used to produce these. All right. I mean, the coins look good. Theoretically, you could buy this. And $50 isn't the worst thing in the world here. You could buy this set and piecemeal out the coins and sell things like the Washington quarters and the Candy half dollars and more than make up the $50 and then some. Because we've identified that the P-Mint quarter can still sell for $30 to $40 or higher. All right. And then here's a quick glance at grading. So something brand new has emerged. This is kind of a big deal that I'm sure a lot of you are not aware of. So here's 83 P&D. If you look across here, obviously 67 plus is the grade to get for Philadelphia. It's $4,500 per their valuation. And in 83D, it looks like 67 is just the highest grade. There are no plus designated coins for that to make it worth moon money. All right. Me personally, I would stay away from the grading part of it. It's just going to be, seeing as how there's not enough of these in quantity for you justify sending 5 or 10 of them to PCGS, I would probably leave it alone. Unless you know you have a pristine example that has no contact marks. But the one thing that I forgot that they had added that you guys probably don't know about is that there's an FS901 Spitting Eagle variety that actually has some pretty good value in mint state condition. And something that I would be certain that you guys need to be on the close lookout for, because these coins, are worth quite a bit more. In 64, they're like double the price. So this one right here, I believe this is the Die Clash Spitting Eagle. And that's exactly what it is. So when you look here, that is actually a Clash from Washington's bust on the reverse. And that's how it got its namesake, the Spitting Eagle, which we've seen on other coins, like the 1891 Carson City Morgan. There is a Spitting Eagle, which is a better looking one in my estimation because we know it's not a clash. But this coin is actually pretty cool, and it's a recognized Cherry Picker's Guide variety. It's got a Favaz Stanton number, all right, which is the catalog number for this variety. So yet again, that is something new that's been added as on the I guess was it volume 2 or 6th edition volume 2. I had to think about it for a second. That's the newest Cherry Picker's Guide, which by the way we're giving away on our Friday show on Whatnot. So yeah, come check it out. But there you go, 1983. There's still some value here, folks. And definitely don't overlook these. If you come across a really nice one in change, they're worth some money. Even as an AU coin, they're like $5 to $10. Both P and D Mint coins have value. Do keep a close lookout for these coins. And it's just going to be another thing that you could add to your arsenal. It's going to be good to add something like this to not only your collection or to resell, because at the end of the day, we're in it for the hobby, but also it's an extra added bonus when we have the ability to sell these for a lot more than face value. So that's going to go ahead and do it for this one. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. It's always a pleasure. Best of luck in your hunts. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my video if you haven't done so already. All of the extra support will go a long way here in 2024. And that's it. You guys take care. Have a good one. And I will see you on the next coin video. So long.